Are we not supposed to be inside? I'm telling you. If Corona does not end, it is because of South Africans. So please explain. Please can someone explain what's happening? Let's just give him time. Let's just. You think you've mastered this game of filming until you spend 5 minutes recording with the camera facing the other way. I don't understand. What have I done to deserve this? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm constantly disappointing myself. I've been at this for a couple of months and still, till this day, I have to check whether the camera's facing the right way. I'm defeated. Anyway, now that we have everything in working order, hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well mentally, emotionally, and physically. I hope we're making the most of this time that we have with our families, and just time to ourselves, and just, you know, to focus on ourselves, do a little bit of introspection, and just look at where we are at the moment, and then look at our goals and see where we're trying to get, and kind of work our way towards this slowly but surely. Before I jump into today's message, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that's been sharing, liking, and commenting, because our family has doubled in the last month, which is incredible. I am so excited, and I'm really grateful for everybody that has played a role in that happening, and I'm so excited and looking forward to further growth, and just seeing where this channel goes and seeing where we all go in terms of our journey. But yeah, let's get into today's video. Okay. You know, the little red book is out today. Today's message I've decided to call rooting. This was mainly inspired by, I don't know if you guys know, what's her name? Rupi Kaur's book. It's called The Sun and Her Flowers. Anyway, she just splits that book into different stages that a flower goes through before it grows, and I was inspired by that process, and then kind of just made it into my own, and then for the series, that is. So today's message is, I'm not going to use every stage that she used in the book, but today's message is focusing on rooting. This is one of the most difficult parts of growth, one of the most seemingly stagnant parts of growth, where it looks like you're not growing, it looks like nothing's happening, nothing's moving, be it financially, be it spiritually, be it personal growth, be it relationships, friendship, just anything. It's when we see, or we start to think, that nothing's happening, but meanwhile a lot of work is taking place underground. So before any plant, any flower comes onto the surface and starts blooming, like we all hope to get to at some point, there is a lot of work that takes place underground, and this is something that not everybody around you will see, right? As I was saying, there's a lot of work that needs to go into it, right? So that means you putting a lot of work into something for you to achieve the goal. Yeah. So this particular part of your growth journey, or your journey to bloom, is very, 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 very important. We often marvel at other people blooming, and people often marvel at us when we're blooming, but they are not cognizant of how much work we had to put in order for us to reach that part of our lives, in order for us to get to where we wanted to go. And that's what I want to encourage someone today, that it's so easy to want something. Do you know what I mean? It's I feel like that's the simplest part of setting a goal. Sitting down and saying, I want A, B, and C, that has got to be the simplest part. Finding out what you want to do, and then jotting down and writing it down. That surely that doesn't take much. But then the bulk of achieving that goal is in you. It's in you doing work. It's in you. You know how everybody's always been like, I want to make moves in private and then let money talk for me. That's literally what rooting is about. Rooting is you putting in work that other people won't see, you putting in hours that other people aren't seeing. That means you, for example, for me, a lot of my growth journey is not necessarily aimed at material achievement. It's not necessarily aimed at getting a degree. Not that anything is wrong with that. It is perfectly okay to aim towards a degree, to aim towards making the Forbes list or making a certain amount of money. That is perfectly okay. But for me, my growth journeys are mostly to do with myself and personal growth. That's what it is. Personal growth and relationships and friendships around me. That's what my growth is mainly focused on. I mean, of course, I'm not saying I want to be, I want to be comfortable. I want to have money. I do. Of course I do, but that's not my main objective from life. I want to forge relationships with people that are going to last me my whole life. Relationships that are going to get me through tough times. Relationships with people that will be there when I start to succeed. People that will be there to celebrate with me. So for me, that's a huge part of my growth journey. And a lot of that is me having to introspect and me having to work on my own character. If you remember in the relationship advice that Chichi and I did, we spoke about how often we as people don't realize our own toxic traits. It's so easy to pinpoint somebody else's toxic traits and not even think to myself, but what role did I play in order for something to fall apart, in order for this to happen? We often ignore the part that we play. But when you work on your personal growth, when you're putting in the work as you're rooting, you start to realize your own toxic traits. You start to realize things within you that could ruin relationships. And for example, if you're selfish, when you start to work on that part of yourself, when you start to be honest with yourself, you start to realize that about yourself. So for me, I feel like there's something I should do with my boyfriend. We need to sit down, but let's not do that because then I end up angry when he tells me my toxic traits. But for me, in relationships, I tend to, I have gone through relationships that did break me down. Pay attention, I didn't say broke me. I went through relationships that did cause me to start looking at myself like I'm not a victim. I deserve A, B, and C. So in me knowing what I deserved and knowing what I want and knowing what I don't want to be treated like, I kind of put up a wall and I kind of have an I don't care attitude. And that is toxic, particularly in a new relationship, because that's me not giving a fair chance to that individual. It's not for me to say that you must be a walkover in every relationship you're in every friendship you're in. Absolutely not. Know what you're worth and know what you are not going to tolerate. And that's absolutely important. But with that being said, understand the line. Understand where you stop being, where it stops being your worth and more of you being... There's a very thin line between understanding your worth and having an ego. So when you're rooting, when you're looking at yourself and trying to groom parts of yourself that you want to improve on, you start to notice these things. And I am hoping he's not watching this video because I'm low-key admitting fault. But on a serious note, yeah, that's what rooting is all about. But so for me, I have to sit myself down and look at what I'm doing wrong and how I can fix that. And I think the mistake people tend to make is when they've overcome something, when they've gone over a certain patch in their life or in their, like in your personal growth, and you've gone past something, you think that's it, growth is done, like what's next type of scenario. But growth is continuous. It's not like a once-off process. It's not something you do at once and then you're set for the rest of your life. It's something that is constantly happening, and it's something that requires you to be evolving constantly. That means constant introspection, constant reconstruction, so that the certain lessons that you learned in one season of your life, they won't be the same lessons you'll need for your next season, which then requires you to grow and work on yourself for that following season. So it's a lot. I think what I also learned is not to rush my growth process. And that's one of the most difficult things I've had to tell myself, that every season has a specific time. Every season is for a reason. Nice, Charlene. Ew. Charlene. She's ignoring me. Anyways, as I was saying, it's allow yourself the time to grow. Don't rush your growth because you're trying to reach to the next person's level, because you've said to yourself, so let's say for example you told yourself by 25 years old I should have my own company, or I should be running my own business. And as much as that's exactly what we want you setting goals, we want you to be manifesting things into being. But with that being said, there should be room for you to grow. So in as much as you want to be there by 25, understand that, okay God, if I haven't gotten the qualities that I need for me to run my own business, for me to, whatever goal you set for yourself, for me to be at that stage that I would like to be, please keep working on me. Please can we keep working on me until a point I am ready to do so. So sometimes it takes longer than you thought it would. Sometimes building character, sometimes working on your character, and just the rooting process takes a lot longer than we'd like it to. It takes a lot longer than we expect it to. And then we often think, oh, well, I'm not growing because it's taken me 3 years for me to get a degree that I was supposed to get in 6 months. Let's say it's taken me 10 years to build a business I wanted to build in 3 years. We tend to then give up because it's taken us longer than we anticipated, longer than we wanted it to take. But in reality, it's just because you're not at a stage or at a place in your growth where you're ready for that. Do you know what I mean? So it's understanding that. So there are two main problems that arise from you not being content with the part you are in your growth journey, and just not being content with where you are. So these two problems are, you tend to neglect the progress that you've made. So that means you start focusing more on the grounds that you haven't covered because you're focusing on the little that you've done, and you're thinking, but so and so has gone so much further than I have, even though we started on the same day, the same month, the same year. They've gone a lot further than I have. Now, in order for you not to do this, you need to celebrate little victories. So when you do something right, when you make progress, despite how minor it is important to celebrate it. Now, this is not to say that be focused on the little things and then pay no mind to the actual goal you've set for yourself. No, it just means encourage yourself when you've done something good. Be proud of yourself when you've achieved something, no matter how tiny. And for you to do that, it then just encourages yourself. It helps you encourage yourself to keep going, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how slow you think you may be moving. The second problem that comes with not celebrating the part of your journey you're in is you compromise your journey. So we see someone succeeding well on their journey, and we often get discouraged and then turn onto their path and their journey. And this is something that was never meant for us to begin with, and we end up putting effort and putting work into something that was never meant for us to start with. So it's a lot that comes with not being content with where you are at a time. But if I can leave you with one thing today is stay focused in your pursuit towards your growth. Not somebody else's, not your brothers, not your sisters, but your growth. And when you do that, when you have your eyes fixated on your goal and your path and your journey, you'll see how content you become. You see how much more work you start putting into towards reaching that goal and towards reaching your growth that you're trying to go towards. So yeah, that's about it. I hope that everybody enjoyed this video and got something from it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and become part of the family. Thank you for joining me. Have a blessed week.